Hello, friends and viewers. This is Asvardal, and welcome to another live session of my game development live stream. Today, we're actually going to be doing something a little bit different than we've done the past couple of sessions. The last few times I've been working on a game called The Hero's Journey. I released it earlier this year, and I've been working on ways to patch it. Last time we did a little bit of level design, which I'm sort of working on off on my own. Um, Today, I've actually got something a little bit different. You'll notice Unity isn't open. My word processor is. That doesn't mean game development isn't happening, though, because, well, we're starting a new project. I've seen a trailer that I'm going to be showing you, and together we're going to be doing some extraction of mechanics, actually, because well, it's a really interesting idea. I'm calling it Sara the Shieldmage tentatively. It's based on an older character I had in a project in one of my long lost projects that's on my hard drive and probably isn't ever going to come to fruition. But this is a mechanical design document. Pretty much what I want to do is I've come across a set of mechanics that I think would make a really, really excellent game, and it's something I think I want to make. I think I could do it to completion, right? Well, the thing is that we need to figure out a couple of things before we do that, because I need to prototype some things. You can actually go ahead and refresh my Twitch monitor right quick. I have since gotten a new headset, and I've double checked my OBS settings, so I don't think this time we're going to be having any loss of content like what happened the last few times. Definitely getting into streaming has been a new experience for me, and I thank you all for your patience and the good feedback I've gotten. Today, before I go any further forward, I've also got sort of a agenda for today too. We're going to start off working with this mechanical design document, where we're going to figure out a few things about this game so I can start working on the prototype. But then I'm going to be doing some pixel work with you guys. We're going to start working on just a really basic version of the main character for this prototype. Um, that's now, before we get much further into this, I do want to say one thing. This is a prototype. This does not mean a game will be made. For every game, I've released 3 games in my lifetime with Unity, and for every game I release, I find that I have about 3 to 5 prototypes that never see the light of day ever. Um, part of that is sometimes I'll make a prototype and I'll realize partway through, whoa, this is way harder than anything I'm capable of doing right now. I need to find something else to do. Or sometimes I'll have an idea, I'll build the prototype, and I'll show it to people, and they'll say to me, dude, what were you thinking? This isn't fun, you know? So when I get that sort of feedback, I know to back off it. Not a good idea, but taught me a thing or two. So that's just something I wanted to get out of the way right before we start. This might not go anywhere. This might be my 4th game. We don't know. That's sort of what we're starting with. Now to that trailer I've been talking about. The one in question is Lana and the Book of Sorcery from Hyrule Warriors. I stumbled across this because I've been sort of interested in Hyrule Warriors lately. It seems like it's going to be a great game for the Wii U. It's probably going to wind up leading to me purchasing the console. So I want to show you the trailer, because in this trailer I see a few things that would make a great game, sort of actually in the vein of what I've already done with the hero's journey. Let's take a look. Let's just watch it the first time. I am going to be speaking over the video in both cases. If you want to see it, you probably see the address on my monitor. But yeah, she seems like an interesting character. I'm not saying that because she's cute. Um, so she's got a book. She's just doing a whole bunch of just crazy attacks. Now this is cool. She's doing parkour off these summon blocks and then detonating them. How awesome is that, right? So she summons more blocks that when she summons them, it damages the enemies, and she can just destroy them and zap with thunder. She can push blocks. You know, she goes, okay, she stomps on the cube. Man, this is awesome, isn't it? Obviously, there are people who like Lana, actually. I've been watching some of the streams over the weekend and seeing people who really like her playstyle. And one of the things that sort of got me going with this is that uh, all of her things, if you notice, they're all powered by summoning blocks and manipulating blocks. I mean, that's sort of a core thing with her. If they didn't have the AI turned off, she would just be another squishy wizard. But she's not, actually. Apparently a competent fighter in this Dynasty Warriors-like game. Now, from this, we can see some things. And I want to go back to the design document really briefly. Um, the concept I have with Sara the Shieldmage is she is a mage in a side-scrolling world. Her main thing is her ability to summon barriers. She can summon barriers on herself. She can summon blocks that act as barriers. She can summon stuff that she can willingly bounce off of in order to do cool things. There is a lot of potential in that, and is the reason I want to make a game out of it. So let's answer, we can answer one main question that we have to answer before we ever think about starting a new game. And that is, why would you want to play a game where you summon blocks, you use blocks to modify your position, you use blocks or summon things as weapons? Um, why why would you want to do that? Well, the first thing, uh, intellectual challenge, um, bat- battles, exploration are, well, it's a puzzle. Like everything put together is a puzzle. This is like the main reason you would want to play a game where you have a main character who all she can do is summon crap. It's not your usual, oh, like the hero's journey. Oh, I'm a knight. I'm wearing my crystal armor. I'm going to go out and save the kingdom in a terribly cliche way. No, that's not why you would play this game. You play this game because this is a completely different archetype. You have to approach this game completely differently. If you tried acting like Tim the Knight in this game, well, Sarah you'd get a game over. That's about how it would go. Another reason you'd want to play. That's another reason you want to play this game too. Um, um, it's a more mechanically, it's a more original type of challenge. I'm going to say indirect with quotes combat because, well, barriers and summoned objects. By that, I mean there is maybe a way that you can have a sort of a direct combat going on, but that's not the point of this game. The point of this game is when all you have is summon magic, and more specifically magic that lets you summon barriers. You've got to all of a sudden take that and a relatively limited set of actions that you can build on through the game, and you've got to overcome combat and puzzle challenges while exploring, while getting a story. Yeah, that's perfectly a thing. That's pretty much the Zelda series, which, funny enough, Hyrule Warriors is based off of, in a nutshell. Um, see, why else would someone want to play this bare mechanical vision of Sara the Shieldmage? See, we've got an intellectual challenge, we've got an original type of challenge, which is this sort of indirect combat. Mechanically, oh yeah, that's another thing. Mechanically, room room for growth through overcoming challenge. Um, you've got to explore areas. You've got to discover powers, which means using existing powers to get to those. Um, yeah, exploring and discovering is a main thing. I mean, that that's something I know I personally enjoy in games, and I know I'm not alone in enjoying. Let me see. Oh no, my Twitch computer is having JavaScript issues. Um, actually, yeah, Adobe just crashed. Yeah, it's so if y'all are saying anything in chat right now, I'm probably missing it, but I'm reloading the page for y'all. Um, Yeah, so we have three good reasons, I think. We have an intellectual challenge, an original type of challenge through summon magic, and exploring an exploration and discovery, so almost a Metroidvania sort of setup. Let's put that down. I think that's sort of an important way to look at this game. It's very strongly a Metroidvania in some cases. Obviously, as we're taking some cues from the hero's journey, it's going to be more akin to perhaps a JRPG with side-scrolling segments. Again, sort of like Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. It's a game I think is really underrated, but I'm getting away from some of those more constraining sword fighting mechanics that were introduced in that game and to something which is completely new, but it's based off of a relatively proven formula with some caveats like, hey, this is a relatively new type of character that's just been released in a more modern game. Actually, let's go ahead and go on from that because we also need to ask ourselves another good question: is who would play this game? There's a number of different types of player. In my mechanical design document here, I based these off of the D&D 4.0 Dungeon Masters document. And the reason I did that is because different people play games for different reasons, and I want to know who my audience is. I need a goal. I need objectives, right? So, so we've got actors here. In the D&D things, the actor is someone who's role playing. They're in their character. Um, I think an actor would maybe want to play this game. There's some characterization that can take place, but ultimately, it's not that big of a deal, really. Yeah, there's not really much more to say about that because there is of course a story and a plot that's going to help guide you, but no, the plot is hardly the main focus of this game. Definitely the puzzles and the intellectual challenge is why people will want to come to this game and try different things in different setups. Um, Another interesting thing I think is the explorer. Yes, an explorer absolutely would want to play this game because there's a lot for you to find. I mean, this game is not this game if you don't take the time to look and listen to clues and look for things that look a little bit off, you're going to miss out on some powers which yeah, you'll be able to complete the game, but well, it won't be as easy. It won't be maybe as interesting because maybe the final boss has ways for you to exploit mutually exclusive powers or something. I mean, we're just totally coming up with stuff. We're throwing ideas at the wall at this point. But yeah, you would want to be an explorer. If you're an explorer, you'd want to play this game. An instigator. Instigators are kind of interesting. They're people who enjoy making things happen in the D&D Dungeon Master's Guide. And by people who make things happen, I mean um, they do stuff to cause trouble for a group. Now, this isn't a multiplayer game. This is a single player title, not at all unlike the hero's journey, really. So for this one, not applicable. Power gamers. Power gamers are your min maxers, your theory crafters. I'm going to put maybe for them because I think the way that the Zelda series and the way that I've started going with some of my prototypes, where I present a limited amount of information because that's all there is. There's some clear opportunities for min maxing, but it's less about how high can I jack my stats to overpower everything, and more, how do I use my mind to overcome a particular problem? And that's a key thing. Slayers, long made short, they are people who love killing monsters. They're your PvP types who enjoy in other titles killing other players. Yeah, they'd want to play. They'd want to play this game because there's no shortage of combat. One of the core problems that the player has to overcome in this concept is, as someone who is armed with utility magic, how do I weaponize that such that I can survive an onslaught of monsters? Actually, let's put that up in our Y. That's kind of important. Right. So yeah, a Slayer is going to have an interesting time in this game. Instigator, actually, let's upgrade them to maybe, because this sort of conflict is what a instigator lives for. They really want to figure out, you know, what happens if I drop the block on this switch that obviously has a fire nozzle coming out of the side of a nearby block or something. That's totally what an instigator would do. Yeah, instigators love messing with stuff, so yeah, that's what we want to see. Storytellers. Now, the Dungeon Master's Guide says that a storyteller is a player who prefers the narrative of the game to individual characters. I'm going to put maybe. Again, story isn't major. Thinkers. Yep. Yes, absolutely yes. Yes, with a cherry and spaghetti on top. This game is a thinker's paradise because you've got to be, well, you don't have to be smart to play it. The game is going to teach you how to play, but the game is going to reward you for figuring out how to do cool stuff, either before you're told you can, or or just figuring things out, taking the time to explore and solve a difficult puzzle, or if you find a cool way to defeat an enemy. That's definitely something that's actually a main hook. Yeah, your pretty much your utility and defense magic is going to allow you to do thing is going to open up possibilities. Yeah. Um, that's something powerful because if you're a veteran of the game and you come back, this is going to add a little bit of replayability, because now you can say, okay, I know how to do this. You're going to get to an early part of the game where you can use some really ridiculous thing you can do with your basic block really early that you didn't know how to do the first time, and you get a new power up, and you're like, hey, I didn't know I could do this, or I didn't know I could do this soon. So it'll change the way your game plays out. The final type of player is a watcher. They're a casual player who want to be part of a social event. Um, okay, that's one that is actually not applicable unless someone let's plays this game and really likes the let's play. But for mechanical design, that doesn't matter yet. We'll get there. So, how will the game fulfill these things? I mean, we've just figured out that there's There's players who might be interested. There's types of players who absolutely will be interested in this game. It offers a lot. It offers things that, for certain, three types of gamer, as defined by the Dungeons and Dragons Dungeon Master's Guide, um, would really like. How are we gonna do that? Well, for the explorer, um, lots of places to explore. First, for an explorer, yeah, secrets accessible with character powers. That's a key thing. Slayers, lots of lots of monsters in that indirect combat. I mean, if you're playing this game in order to defeat monsters, yeah, you're gonna have a field day because I'm gonna make sure that that you're using these less orthodox mechanics in order to do something really, really cool. That's sort of important to me. I want this type of game. The Slayer type of gamer is very common, and I want them to be happy. I also want the explorer. I'm an explorer, actually. That's sort of the archetype I tend to fit into in most games I play. It's why I like Terraria and Elder Scrolls Online. But yeah, Slayers, they're gonna have some cool things. Actually, tell you what, uh, instigators, um, traps that can harm monsters and players. That's very, very important to a good design. Well, call this Slayer. Yeah. Because this is a mechanic that helps instigators and slayers enjoy the game. Because the instigator is the guy who's going to go, "Oh, this looks like a bad idea. Let me trip this trap and see just how bad it is." The slayer is going to see the thing, be genre savvy enough to know that stepping on it is a bad idea, and then is going to use their powers to manipulate the enemy into triggering it, thus killing them and making them laugh their heads off that the game allows them to do that. That is a cool feeling. I love it in especially Elder Scrolls Online when I can do a really clever set of kiting, and I can like lure enemies onto like I can either lure enemies onto like a mage's runes or something really cool like that. That's yeah, that's a thing. That's got to be there. Um, the storyteller type gamer, there will be a plot this time. I promise on my honor, there will be a plot. As I've shown in the last couple of videos, when I promise something is going to happen, it happens. I improved my settings, I improved my headset. Yeah, you are totally getting a plot this time, unlike the hero's journey, unfortunately. Um, there's some things I need to figure out with that, but that's not really terribly important to this mechanical design document. Thinker, let's see. We can just copy this from Explorer to start with. You got secrets that are accessible with character powers. See, you've also got puzzles. Thinkers love puzzles. I love puzzles, actually. Having some puzzles in the game, great idea. It's going to make the type of players who are thinkers very, very happy. Another thing, let's try thinker riddles. I want the NPCs of the game to offer riddles that will tell you how to get things early, but you might not recognize that they're a riddle until you run up against something and you're just sort of stuck there, like, if you can remember it. Oh yeah, there was that one NPC in that town who had this weird riddle and this resembles it. And then you start thinking and you realize that that riddle is telling you the answer, and you trigger the thing and do things correctly, and you get a reward. That's rewarding your thinking and your memory and your skills of deduction. That's right up a thinker's alley. I love it when games do that. So yeah, We definitely want riddles. We want puzzles. We want secrets. Um, yeah. Yeah, I think the game. I mean, right now we have some ways that this game is going to fulfill what gamers want out of it. We have ways to. We have a. The biggest thing we have is thinking puzzles, because this ultimately, I guess, what you could consider this game in a way is sort of a side-scrolling puzzle game. In a way, there's also some combat elements. We could probably include some RPG mechanics. I think that's something that was sort of missing from the hero's journey. Is I took the Zelda 2 setup and I just completely stripped it of the RPG elements because I didn't feel they added anything. In hindsight, that might not have been such a good idea because I could have added a sense of progression and growth and maybe some ways to scale up my bosses so that they would be a little bit more difficult. I also had some other design considerations, but you know what? Actually, tell you what. Slayers. There we go. RPG mechanics give you incentive to your playstyle. Actually, a great thing about RPG mechanics is it's also a thing for explorers. So yeah, I mean, in taking some time to think about how the game is going to interact with the players, we have some guidelines. These are things that in my prototype absolutely need to be there. There needs to be secrets, there needs to be exploration, there needs to be RPG mechanics, traps, monsters, a semblance of a plot, puzzles and riddles. That's important. That's very important. So I think with that, yeah, I've said like 3 times we're on the way to doing that. So let's not belabor that point anymore. Right. So tools that allow the player to do what the game asks of them. So let's start summon block. This is the most basic spell, and it's what you start with. It's the key conceit of the game. So, and right now the thing is, it's going to summon a block into the game world. Probably something more interesting is we could do something like summons one block per rank. That might be more interesting as you use the spell and as you gain experience in situations. It might well be that your summon block spell gets stronger and it lets you place more blocks concurrently. Um, on that note, let's go ahead and add a caveat to that. If more blocks than the max amount allowed exist, the oldest block will despawn, and the newest block will take its place. That's actually a good rule because that's sort of a programmery business rule. That's something I could open up Unity right now and start writing a script to actually do. That's important. Actually, let's go ahead and take this on to the next page. Let's actually go back to the trailer because there were some things I had noticed whenever we were in the player. There were some cases that looked like Lana the White Sorceress. It looked like she would jump onto blocks as part of her parkour, and that it would create like a shockwave that damaged opponents. That might be useful. Actually, let's see. Let's fast forward to that if we can. Looks like there we go. So yeah, you see, she's jumping across and they're getting damaged. That's sort of the thing that we want to do. So let's go back to here. If the player makes a contact with a summoned block, at a certain speed, yeah, there we go. The player makes contact with the summon block at a certain speed. A small detonation occurs that deals damage in a given radius. Let's see. Another thing too that I had fast forwarded past in the trailer. Let's go back to this. So see, she summons the blocks and it damages them. So that's another thing. If an enemy, let's see, that's another rule actually. Let's put it right here. This is sort of important because I want to think about these things in the order that I would try to implement the mechanics. This is a great place to do some of that thinking ahead of time and reduce my workload later. So so when a block is summoned, a small detonation occurs, deals damage in a given area, and it repels any nearby enemies. Yeah. So we can actually let's go ahead and convert these to bullet points. So we summon one block per rank into the game world. We can only have a certain amount. Whenever a block is summoned, it deals damage to anything nearby. If a player makes contact with a certain block at a certain speed, it makes a small AoE detonation. See what else did we notice about the block? Let's see if detonate block is cast. That's the thing we were just seeing in the trailer there. That we can cast detonate block to immediately make all of our blocks despawn and deal significant AoE damage. Right. So if detonate block is cast, let's go ahead and put that in bold italics because that's a power. That's something else that we can give to the player as part of their progression through the game. Right away, the whole point of a block is going with the Shieldmage theme is that you want to create a shelter from other stuff that's going on in the game world. That's actually another thing we want to do. Um, the Right, so summon blocks can repel physical projectile. Can repel physical projectiles. Um, at higher rank. Yeah, at a higher rank that can also deflect magic projectiles. Um, right, so the block is there. It takes some amount of damage, and that causes the block to get despawned. And to our brand new viewer, welcome to the channel. Thank you very much for coming on. Right now, what we are doing is we are doing some preemptive design on a brand new project I have called Sara the Shieldmage. We're working out just some very basic mechanics for the game. I've covered a number of things up to this point. I've come up with reasons that you would want to play this game in the first place. I've done some work to figure out, what sort of gamers would really want to play this game I figured out, how the game is going to reward players for playing it. Is it going to give players things that it's generally accepted that they want? And what I'm doing right now is I'm creating powers that we can plan to give to our players in our prototype. Probably the most expansive one is this summon block ability, because it's really the key mechanic of the entire game. Um, Blocks matter in this setup. I've also showed the Lana trailer in on YouTube because it's sort of what inspired me to go ahead and start, thinking of designing this brand new game. So really, I think getting back to creating the actual powers. I mean, right now the summon block is sort of a beast. It's a very complex thing that is intended to be the bread and the butter. It's got all sorts of mechanics associated with it, and well, we might want to think about maybe in the future adding some things that add some of these effects. None of this is set in stone. This is all a prototype. Let's actually go on to make this second power. I'm very close to the end of the end of this segment of the live stream. We're going to be doing some pixel art next, but well, let's go ahead and try to flesh out this detonate block ability. This is sort of important, right? So when cast, it destroys all summoned blocks. That's very important. Actually, we can refactor that rule that for detonate block down here to detonate block spell, because this is a completely separate capability for the player. I mean, normally a player can either just summon the block. That's pretty much all they can do. So summon blocks, um, they they detonate, dealing damage in a small area. And repels nearby enemies. So that's the main part of this. Um, what else would be useful about the detonate block spell, or is it all that big of a thing? I mean, all you're doing is you're canceling out all your blocks in a admittedly destructive fashion, right? Okay, I think we can. I think we can go with that. I think that's a thing. And this is going to be an early spell. This is going to be one of the actually. Oh yeah, we have sort of a rank precedent. Let's go ahead and add a caveat to this damage effect. Damage scales based on spell rank. There we go. I think that's a good thing. So we have 5 minutes left. We could add another power, and I'm thinking we might want to. Um, Something that occurred to me, if we go back to the broadcast, push block. That's a thing. Yeah. Let's go ahead and make that happen. Now we need a way to push a block. Pushing the block kind of matters. As you can see, you can just push this barrier along and it deals damage to opponents, and that might be a great way for delaying. That might be a great way for taking out minor opponents. That has all sorts of utility. We totally want that. But would it make sense for it to be a power? I don't think so. I think having control over your blocks as part of your magic abilities is a thing, but I don't think that we would want we would want, push block to be like an active ability of sorts. I think it would make more sense as some sort of a passive, perhaps one conferred by by a piece of equipment. I think that's the way that this makes the most sense. So let's go ahead and let's create gauntlets, early equipment. It's an accessory. Um, and of course, allows the player to push a block in a direction. I can spell direction properly, I promise. Um, as we saw though, one of the things it did was whenever a pushed block actually could damage and knock back enemies. So let's go ahead and add that. Yeah. And of course, we want to add some RPG mechanics. So I think it would be best with the gauntlets for it to sort of create a stat for you to either for the gauntlets to create a stat for you to keep track of, or for there to be sort of an innate stat that powers this sort of physical interaction. Tell you what, let's go ahead and call it a question mark strength stat. I think that's a great way to look at it, because a strength stat would determine your physical hardiness, while a magic stat, if such a thing exists, would allow you to dictate your magical potency. I don't know if a magic stat's going to be all that terribly important, though. Uh, let's not worry about that. I'm just going to call these gauntlets for right now. I can come up with a flashier name in the future, but right now, yeah, we've got three really good mechanics in this case. We can summon blocks, we can destroy blocks, we can push blocks. I'm going to be working on this over the next few days, probably just adding things as I can think of them. I'm definitely not relying on that Hyrule Warriors trailer to dictate all of the mechanics. It was the source of inspiration to me. So I wanted to show how I was coming up with these mechanics. It's already close to about the 45-minute mark in my broadcast, so we're about to do some pixel art instead. But for those watching in the future from YouTube, or those just joining right now, I certainly hope you found this insight into the mechanical design of this new project to be really interesting. I hope this has been of some help to you. With that, let's go ahead and shelve this mechanical design, and let's get to some pixel art, because I do think that we want to create a prototype of this game. This has a lot of elements that gamers are going to like. We just shelled out all of those. But, in order to have a game, I need to start by trying the ideas and exposing it to people so that I can get some feedback. That's kind of a thing. So let's go ahead and let's start with this just very basic black and white setup. What I did here was I created some very basic line art earlier today. I've got a drop shadow, I've got a guide box, and what we're going to do in this part of my game development live stream is we're going to take this basic kind of bland outline, And we're gonna start making a player character out of this. We're gonna start making some animations. We're gonna see that pixel art first is not scary. I do it all the time, and more importantly, that we can get a great deal of expression out of this art form. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. So first thing we want to do, let's go ahead and make a brand new layer. The way I tend to do sprites is I use GIMP and I create layers. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, actually, got a better idea. Let's duplicate this layer. And we're going to do a Sara idle right layer. I'm going to go ahead and hide the old kind of guideline layer. Right, so one of the things that we need to do is we need to complete the line art. We need to give this Sara character some defining features. She needs to be unique. She is the player character. Today, we're not going to do color on that, and it's very important. And anyone who's tried to animate pixel art before will know exactly why. Have you ever tried to animate color? I tell you, it's not easy. I did it on my last game and the hero's journey with most of the characters really, and it was kind of horrible. I have to admit. Color can be added later. Probably my prototype is actually going to have this line art to start with, just to make sure that my mechanical design that I just worked on is sound. So yeah, let's get started. So first thing I want to start with is we've got a character, we've got heels. Doesn't have a whole lot of detail to it. Let's go ahead and start with some hair. Hair is kind of nice. Just going to give a very basic sort of cut to the hair. And as you can see, in my pixel art style, I have all of my external edges are just subtly thicker because I don't allow corners to be alone. In my style, that's sort of a no-no. So yeah, here we go. Let's go ahead and start defining the edge of the hair. Yeah, there we go. Shoot. And as always, I do watch my Twitch chat and my YouTube chat and my YouTube comments. So if you want to see something different, if you don't like this hairstyle, if this doesn't look right to you, just feel free to chime in. I do read my comments, and I am always willing to take your comments not just into consideration, but actually do them, because I think that you all want a game that you can be proud of, and I want to give it to you. That's really why I'm doing this. So there we go. We're starting to get a player character. Let's go ahead and get down to 100% pixel for pixel. And yeah, I mean, she's got a haircut. So let's go ahead and add some more features to her. We don't want to go crazy, but we want her to look the part. So how would a shield mage look? That's something we want to ask ourselves. Um, I would, me being me, this is up for debate. I would think that a shield mage would be lightly armored. She's built to be in combat. She has some light armor. She needs enough flexibility to cast spells, but she's not expected to be just your typical squishy wizard either. She's a woman who can hold her own in a fight. To that end, I think we need to give her just a little bit of armor. I think like a pauldron, sort of like almost like a Cloud Strife style pauldron, is a thing. Right. So let's go ahead and do that. Actually, let's go ahead and do that. That looks a lot better. No. There we go. So, actually, yeah, there we go. And as always, in my style, one of the key things is I make my inner lines subtly less powerful than my outer lines. So there we go. Now let's also give her a gauntlet, because gauntlets are cool, as we all know. Um, it wouldn't be really practical for her to go without both of her gauntlets. So let's go ahead and make sure she has them on both sides. That's kind of an important thing. Let us say. She will need some armor, but not much. This is probably about the end of the armor that she is going to be receiving. Right. And there we go. All right, let's zoom out and see how we're doing. All right. Yeah, the cleavage doesn't look entirely right. Let's see, actually, just go ahead, do that. Actually, let's sort of weaken. Let's weaken the cleavage line a little bit. It's not all that necessary. Okay, see how we're doing. Yeah, I'm still not satisfied with that. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Looks like we need to harden those lines up then. All right. It's not perfect, but it'll work. A cape? I don't know. I don't know about a cape. I think that's a little on the ridiculous. Well, might not be. There's other things we can do for right now. I'm thinking about it. Right. So definitely probably a skirt. Skirt's not a bad idea on a mage type character. You know what they always say in World of Warcraft? Kill the one with the skirt. That's the healer. She's not a healer, but close enough. Believe me, if you let her run around long enough, she would cause havoc in your PvP battlegrounds. But yeah, let's see, give her some slight. Give her a skirt. This is going to be a belt. Give her some boots. This is where the boots are going to be laced. All right. Let's zoom out, see what we got. Alrighty. Not half shabby. Not half shabby at all. Probably the only thing I can think is I want her legs to be subtly thinner. Colors, color to alpha. Use that. Go select none. Alrighty. There we go. We have us a main character in sort of a idle pose. We could try to color her in. Actually, tell you what, I've got an idea. We can clone layers. We're gonna call this our test color layer. So let's talk about colors a little bit. Colors are kind of important. We do want to color code things for our players' convenience. There's going to be certain cues that in coding the player a certain way, we're going to be establishing throughout the entire game. You know, you can always tell the good guys wear the white hats, the bad guys wear the black hats in old movies and stuff. This isn't an old movie though, this is pixel art, so we still have a very limited range of colors that we can be working with at any given time. Um, to that end, I'm going to start with the color I used in the hero's journey, which is this 60, 100, 160. It's a nice blue. It's not oversaturated. It's not undersaturated. It's just right. That's armor. Let's start with her skirt, actually. Yeah, there we go. She's not naked. She's wearing that underneath her armor. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, that's a thing. Um, she is wearing armor though, so we need to actually tell you what. We're going to do this a little bit different. That's wrong color. So it's going to be 160, 160. I could do silver armor, but I think that typically gold is a little bit more respected of a color of armor. So we're going to go ahead and have all the edges in gold. Yeah. Let's see what else. Let's go ahead and add gold to the edges here too. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna have to do the armor. So right now we've got 3 colors actually. Go ahead and start building my color swatch. The way I like to do that is I just usually make a sort of a dot off to the side here that has each color I'm using. I don't want to go crazy with these colors because I'm going to be using variations on them for other purposes like filling in the outline or other things. Could give them a slight I'm going to go and give them a slight outline so that the swatch can be easily recognized. Yeah, there we go. Because if I turn off the guide box, oh, missed a spot. Save just in case something happens. Yeah, there you go. So see, yeah, right now we've got 3 colors sort of going on. Actually, tell you what. Let's go ahead. 240, 240, 160 is a pretty nice skin tone, actually. So let's go ahead and start filling in the skin effects. Let's add that to our swatch. It's technically a higher toned version of her armor color, technically, but it'll work. Actually, for that matter, there we go. So she's got blue going on for the eyes there. We want to use as few colors as possible because that makes our animation a little bit easier. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, there's always the boots, the boots, the boots, the boots. So, right, so let's go ahead and drop this by a lot. This needs to be something ridiculously low, like 40. No, not 40. That's too low. 80, 80, 30. Yeah, that's perfect, actually. Yeah, so her boots are her boots are leather, of course. It's kind of a middle-agey thing. So yeah, we've got leather boots. We could make her a brunette, but but as we all know, that's a bad idea. If your hair is a primary color, you are a primary character. If your hair is not, you are superfluous. Right, so we need more out of this. We're still missing hair color. That's the main thing we're missing. Could do blue hair. Blue hair is the thing. There is a precedent for blue hair in these sort of games. Let's go with it. And white is sort of an implied part of the color swatch here. Now we have 6 colors. This is a little bit unwieldy, but I think we'll be just fine. We can do some cool things. Actually, we can do some really cool things with this. We're going to have some variations on these colors, which is going to increase. It's going to increase some of our work, but fear not. Let's go ahead and add some highlights to the hair. Okay. There we go. Going to add some slight armor highlights, like so. Let's zoom out and see how we're doing. Not bad. We're starting to get a character going on here. Got the nice hair highlights. We got the armor highlights. Yeah, I think that'll work. Actually, something that's sort of bothering me is the boots. The boots are all leather. They don't need that gold stuff. It's not necessary. Right, we're ready for some modified colors. Let's go ahead and start. I'm going ahead and having the colors on this because these are going to start forming the shadow colors in this swatch. Shadow colors are important as we've used white in order to add some detail. Now we need to add some shadows to counterbalance that light. It's very important because otherwise you just wind up with a big unnecessarily light blur. Actually, is this okay? So it's its own shadow color, right? Should be 80-80-30. It is 80-80-30. Okay. Actually, in that case, tell you what we'll do. We will add it over here. And we will just sort of wipe it off. This. I know what y'all are thinking. Asvardual, why don't you use your eraser? I mean, this is sort of the point of it. Why are you having to go through all these extra clicks? Well, the thing is, the eraser in GIMP doesn't always immediately remove anything you've added. It'll take it down, like it'll add some alpha to it, but that's not really what we're going for. Um, so yeah, that's why I'm doing it that way. It's not because I don't know how to use the program. Trust me. After the last project, I do, but yeah, that's just something I sort of have to consider. Go ahead and make our shadowed armor color. And finally, let's go ahead and see if we drop this to 160, 160, 80, 100 actually, we get a really weird color. You know what? I don't think that's necessary. I think we're going to use this. I think we're going to use, we don't need to add that color, I don't think. I don't think it's necessary. I think we've got plenty of colors right here. There we go. Yeah, so we've got 8 colors in total. That's a lot by pixel art standards. I mean, a lot of pixel art stuff allows for no more than 4 colors. Actually, we're going to add more. We're not even halfway done just yet. So let's go ahead and start adding some of this detail. Go. Put some under there. Let's add a slight one over there. Let's add some shadow where her arms are sort of obscuring the light that's hitting her skirt. Let's take our dark armor color. Accentuate. It's going to accent the cleavage slightly. All right. So let's see what we've got. Looking much better. Yeah, it's amazing what a few shadows can do, isn't it? Let's see. Go ahead. Maybe. Actually, no. I want to add some highlights to the armor at these points. I want to do something like that. Yeah, that's good. Yes, just like that. Yeah, look at that. We've come a long way. Haven't This is what all the end results are going to come up sort of looking like. We've got one other task though. I'm suitably happy with the amount of detail. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not happy. This is the reason why art takes the longest in a game project. Is it's the hardest part to nail down. It's where you lose most of your time writing a game, if I'm totally honest. Yeah, there we go. Let's add some more shadows here. Add some light to her harness right there. Yeah, that looks good. Oh yeah, add some light right there. There we go. Yeah, I mean that's an armored mage right there. She's got some armor. She's not dressed too heavily. She can hold her own in a fight. She certainly looks capable, does she not? But yeah, we're not quite done with her, even still. Let's go ahead and make some super dark colors. So 15, 25, 40. You might wonder, as Vardul, what the bloody hell are you doing? You've already detailed her enough. Well, what I really want to do is I want to now get rid of the black guidelines. In the final product, in the final sprite, what's going to happen is all of these, the borders of all these colors are going to be a super dark color like this. That way, it blends in better with the backgrounds. It won't be like so obnoxious a transition, unless you're going for a really sort of toony, almost anime style, in which case this works just about perfectly. But we're not going for that. We're going for something that's not horribly offensive to the eyes. So let's go ahead and create a super dark brown. That's going to go around the shoes. Shoes and the exposed gold parts, I think. And then super dark. It's going to be near black. It's going to be a really dark gray. Okay. I think that's good. All right. So now we've got 11 colors in this thing. Let's go ahead and add our details. Actually, it's probably going to take me all the rest of this session to add the details. So this is probably going to be the very last bit of work we do together on the game tonight. Tomorrow's a different story. Well, not tomorrow. Next time I stream is a potentially different story. Go ahead and make sure that nothing that I don't want to get filled in gets filled in. Let's see. I can't begin to count the number of times I did this on the player sprite in the hero's journey. I mean, it was coloring that character really taught me things I didn't know before about this entire process, if I'm totally honest. Spriting, it's not as bad as people say. The reason spriting's not as bad as people say is because you're never using all the sprites on a given sprite sheet. I mean, if you did absolutely have to use every pixel, it'd probably be a nightmare. Of course, you don't, so you don't really have to worry about it too much, do you? Let's see. Let's go ahead and switch to our bucket tool and fill in the boots. Get the lace lines. There we go. Probably need to darken the shadow. It's blending in with the boots, and that's not really all that awesome. Let's go ahead and start getting these armor accents. These armor shadow lines. Okay. And right now, what I'm really doing, I'm just filling in what I think will look good. I'm going to go back as part of my homework and change some of these things around as I see fit. Make sure it's as high quality a sprite as I can possibly create. Quality matters. Quality definitely matters. Just because I'm making an indie game doesn't mean I have free reign to make it look bad. I mean that's kind of ridiculous. Make sure the ears are outlined. That's good. Excellent. All right. Right. So all that leaves actually. Yeah. There we go. So that's just going to leave the super dark blue now. Probably up here. I could almost do that. I'm going to leave some black. I've decided. also going to give some shadow to the eyes there. Whoa, Nelly. Got the signed the wrong color there for a sec, but that's okay. We got this. And I need to add some more. Let's see. So other than the amount of black that we really want, do we have any? Nope. Looks good up close. Let's see how it looks far away. Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all, if I'm totally honest. If anything, I could probably darken up some of the colors a little bit more. Yeah, but other than that, I think we have a strong foundation to a powerful female lead character. She definitely looks ready. Look at her. She's all got like the pauldron. She's got the arms flexed. She's ready. She's ready for a grand adventure, which is what you should be when you're starting a action adventure title with RPG elements. Because why not? Right. So yeah, I think we've done some pretty good stuff on this game. I'm gonna go ahead as part of my homework and work on her character a little bit more. There's some cosmetic things I want to change. I'm also going to review this live stream, double check that my quality is good, that I can be adequately heard. Um, I'm definitely not having any of the technical troubles that I had last episode. More importantly, I'm going to go ahead and finish fleshing out that design, and I'm going to start to build the prototype for Sara the Shieldmage. It may not make it to my next live stream, but it will make it to another live stream. So, really, with that, I think we can call this one a little bit early. This has generally been a very productive live stream, and it's good to be working on another project. I'm going to be keeping on working on the hero's journey a little bit. I'm going to release the 1.2 patch for that game, and I foresee that leading to very good things. But yeah, I certainly hope everyone has enjoyed this live stream, both my Twitch viewers and anyone in the future watching on YouTube right now. Thank you very much, and I will definitely see you next time. Um, Go ahead and leave Sara up there as a little goodbye. Take another good look. Yeah, looks good. Okay, cool. Well, I really appreciate you all you all watching this live stream again. It means a lot to me. Before I repeat myself too many times, thank you very much. I'll try to broadcast again at 8:30 p.m. Sunday next, and I'm thinking sticking to this sort of 45 minutes per focus thing is going to work. So yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you all very much for watching. I'm going to call it right there. Appreciate y'all. Have a great evening. Thanks again. Bye bye.